Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Get Dirty Garage. We're today on Elco trying to get some pieces and parts together for this engine swap, and really want to try and get some accessories that accessorize and run and all that fun stuff. So we got to kind of work on engine dress. You really don't want naked engines running around. So we'll see if we can get alternator and power steering pump, AC compressor, random attachments like that, and see if we can't get things at least put together enough so we're almost ready to run. We got lots of work to do before that, but anyway. So listen, we got tons of stuff to do. So let's go ahead and let's get dirty.
Is this thing on? Yeah. All right, well, it's time to start thinking about the engine accessorize and things like that, since obviously the alternator doesn't fit. It hits the steering box and also catches on the frame, and also the AC compressor set down here, and there's no way that's going to fit. So really did some interweb exploring, and I think best solution for this is going to be kind of that mid-mount concept from Holley. So that's really expensive. So we'll figure out how to make that a little bit less traumatic. But I think first step to that, let's strip the front of this down a little bit and kind of get ready and see what we've got. I want to clean up the front of this, and we get a little scrubbing action in. But we can get started and get this water pump off of here and make a really big mess on the floor, and that way you got something to clean up, But the Holley system actually comes, or the whole concept of it is replacing this water pump with a casting that holds everything. Holds AC compressor and the power steering pump. And coming from the Camaro, this engine did not have a power steering pump at all. And the Camaro's got electrical power steering, so it didn't even have one. So I'm going to have to update that anyways. But it's kind of show you what I got. A few ideas on how to put that together on a regular person's budget. So I got most of that off of just searching on the web and doing a little bit of jungle shopping, and that way I think we can at least make a reasonable attempt at getting everything attached to the front of this beast and not having to spend more than absolutely necessitates. So this water pump really pretty straightforward. Comes off. I mean, the idler pulley and stuff is already attached to it, and comes off just 6 bolts, and they're supposed to be like reusable gasket material, I guess. They don't need the silly putty stuff on there, but I got some new gaskets anyways, just because I don't want to have it leak. Except it just leaked all over the floor. So anyways, we'll next, the one thing that does have to be changed, because it's very specific to that Holley setup is this balancer. So let's yank that off real quick. It's on this millimetric engine. It's actually a 15/16 inch bolt. I got nothing. And it does take a specific little pulley riser thing. It doesn't really have anything that you can latch onto on the back of it like a standard pulley. These little widgets are pretty cheap on the interweb, but they basically just go in there behind the little spokes, I guess, on the balancer, and twists on, and that way we should be able to get an even pull on all of that. If I can get it centered. Okay. I'll grab a socket here. Good guess. All right, let's see if we can't get this thing to come back here. Oops, I guess it should go forward. Best laid plans. Gotta be smarter than the socket wrench or the puller. Which apparently I am not at this point. That's it. Got it on the F drive. Okay, well that puller just broke. Neat. Guess that's what you get for the Chinese tools. Well, we'll try and figure out something else.
Okay, so after ruining two separate pullers, finally was able to use a 3-jaw puller on this thing and use copious amounts of heat to finally get the balancer to break loose and come off of there. So that baby was on there. It's still a bit warm, so I'm gonna let that lay there. I did pull off the variable valve timing connector, what you call it thing, and I'm gonna spend just a little bit of time cleaning up the front of this, because after we put the water pump back on there and the pulley back on there, obviously can't get behind all that stuff. So I'm gonna use a little bit of brake clean and a little bit of wire or brass brush or whatever that is, wire brush, clean some of this stuff up and see if we can't make it a little bit prettier. So. Enough for who it's for. Got it a little bit of steel wool, and probably going to end up replacing this this front seal, since I heated this crank pulley up so much to get it off there. I'm sure that I've got a little bit of warpage and so on that, but we can tackle that before we get the rest of the front accessory stuff on. But we'll take a look in what I've compiled together and cobbled together as an accessory drive kit, and really kind of take it from there. So
on to the next step. Okay, so here's the entire kit I've assembled, I guess. The Holley mid-mount, pretty cool kit. It puts everything, real tight and fairly high on the engine, but compressed in there for engine bays and so on. Holley wants like, I don't know, $2,500 for all this stuff, but doing a little bit of research, you can find bits and pieces in different locations, but there's three things that you got to buy from Holley. One is, the water pump housing, because it's pretty specific. I mean, the power steering pump goes here, alternator, and then AC compressor up here. So that's kind of the whole point of that system, is to get everything tied into the water pump, bring it forward a little bit on the engine and so on. The other thing that you have to get from Holley is this water pump. It's a cartridge style. I have been unable to find that anywhere else, so it makes sense that got to do what you got to do. So, and then the third thing is this damper that is specifically spaced to get the belts in the right position and stuff like that. These have part numbers on them, but I couldn't find them anywhere else. But the rest of the system you can kind of put together. For example, this is just a generic power steering pump, a GM Type 2. I even went extra $3 for chrome, get you home. But if you get that, that's going to mount here. A basic, I think it's called a DR44 alternator from a truck, fits over in here. I mean, this was like, I think it was, the power steering pump was $120 on the Jungle, and I think Holley wants like $300 for them. And the alternator, I think we're going to have to modify it a little bit, because the post here comes out the back, and the Holley ones come out the side, but that shouldn't be too much of a hassle to do that. I think they want, again, about $300 for an alternator, and you can get one for $100 and some odd dollars. And then AC compressor, it's just a Sandon, an SD7, nice compact unit, but again, you can get them for $150 or whatever, and Holley wants $300-400 for them. The tensioner is actually off of a, I think it's a Jeep Wrangler, but they are pretty generic, and I think it was $25 or something off of the Jungle website, and Holley wanted like 70 some, $80 for it or whatever like that. The power steering pump pulley, you can find them on just eBay or anywhere else. I mean, you can get the numbers off the pictures on the Holley website, but that's 25 I think, and Holley wanted $70 for them. So, all of that put together, we'll warn you that they do not come when you buy the individual components. They do not come with gaskets, but those are GM part numbers that you can get pretty easily. So that's not an issue there. Got a new thermostat housing just to make it shiny, but and a thermostat and new bolt for the pulley, since you're not supposed to reuse those. And I think, the water outlets come from Holley. You can put them on the bottom or on the side. I'm not sure where we're going to put those yet, but they also offer like a bolt kit. Now, obviously, you can source bolts locally, but I'm really lazy, so I decided I'd spend the $30 or $40 or whatever and get the right size bolts and not have to go fishing around for everything. So that's basically the entire kit. The only thing that I'm still waiting for, there's a little like tube that's a banjo bolt that goes in the power steering pump. Kind of brings this outlet around the back side of this, because once you get the pulley on there, you just really don't have a lot of room to make any connections and so on to the power steering pump. So is supposedly in the mail, and we'll see how all that comes out. But
all of that combined, I mean, if you want to put this together on the cheap, I mean, everything from Holley, I think this water pump housing might have been $300 and some odd, and the water pump's another 100 and something. Balancer's pretty expensive, but I think I spent like $600-700 at Holley, and the rest of that stuff maybe another $400, something like that. So half price. Holley mid-mount kit basically is what I put together here. So I think at this point we've got the engine cleaned up, and I'm going to put a new seal in the front crank seal, because I think I heated that one up just a little bit too much. So since it's up, just get that one done, and then we'll start putting this stuff on the front of the engine, see how it comes out. So that should be the next steps. Go. And these little holes give you access to put the hex heads in there. That should be exactly where we need that. So I think we'll throw on the balancer next. And that will do it for everything that came from Holley, basically. So, and then we'll start figuring out attachments for everything else. So, we'll do that one next. This little installer widget tool with a bearing and all sorts of fancy stuff in it. You know, I think it was $15 or something. So, better than beating it on with a hammer. But anyways. Yeah, that should be close enough. I know a lot of guys will put these on with using the bolts and stuff, but this twister wheelie dealie wasn't too expensive, and figured I wasn't smart enough to know when to back off, so. Now just a matter of installing the new bolt. All right, as I kind of expected, we're going to have to do a little bit of modifying to the alternator. The stud hits the head, so I have to figure out how to make this come out the side. This plastic cover just kind of pops off of there. Got like 3 snaps on it, so as you can see, they've extended that stud. So I think with this little collar off of here, we can probably just put like a nut or something on the bottom of that and give us a surface to go to. Chop this stud off and then put a wire out the side of this thingy. But yeah, I think that should get us up above over the regulator and stuff. So I'm gonna grab a couple of items to see what we can do to get something to bolt on there, like an eye-ring or something, and put a pretty big wire coming out of there, and then we can attach that wire to you know, the charging system and so on. But we should be okay there and figure that out from that point. So we'll pick it up that way. Okay, so I figured out what I'm going to do. I chopped down that long stud and threaded it back on there, and that'll give me, bring it up off this plastic, whatever this thingy is. But I also cut off from the Camaro harness the original outlet, and what I can do then is to bolt that down and then cut this stud off lower than the plastic cover, and then just knock a hole in the side of this cover and bring these wires out the side. So this is kind of feeding the main harness, and then this one with a fusible link I thought was okay to keep. That was going to the underhood like jump port or whatever that is. So I think what I can do is get a spot where I can feed these wires out the side of that, cut this off, and then, you know, obviously have to make the connections to the car harness once we get all that fun stuff in there. But this way we can get this to bolt up to the car and, you know, keep that stud. And then also I can use this cover to kind of cover that hole in the back. So we will chop this off, knock a slot in this side. Let's see here, grab the sparkly wheel of terror here. That should get us underneath that plastic cover. Now we just gotta modify that slightly. Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll just slice up the side here. Get space for that stuff to come out. Needs to be a bit wider. Okay, that is underneath that level, so I think we should be good to go. Should come out the side, and we'll figure out how we want to route all that fun stuff, but I think it will go on the car at this point. So step number one. All right, so I did go ahead and put thermostat and housing on it, and put the little heater core outlets and fun stuff. I decided to go down with them rather than out the side, so I think I got a little more room down here. But since we got this alternator modified, well, I think it's time to shove that thing in there, and it just fits in this top bracket. Something like that. Get this harness up out of the way. And it does go underneath there. Yep, that'll work. Okay. There's a couple of different bolts that go in this one. There's like a regular hex head job that goes in the top slot. And there's this little button head jobby that goes in the bottom. So we'll get the try the right size on this one. Okay, so that'll bring the wires out and down, and obviously we'll put some tape or stuffage or something around that, and then I can just connect wherever I want those charging wires to go to, fun stuff like that. So I think at this point we can get a power steering pump installed. Did manage to finally get a hold of the little, I'll show you, the little hose thingy. But well, let's dig into that one next. Okay, so here's what I was talking about, these little fittings or outlets. Basically, there's really no room once you get the pulley and stuff on there. There's no room really to get in there and make a hose, and I mean it's pretty tight fit up into there. So there's these brackets. They come with like a banjo bolt that goes down there. There's a couple of crush washers, and basically that's going to sit on top like this, and then route the pressure out right behind that pump where there's some more room. So pretty straightforward, but comes with a banjo bolt and a couple of crush washers. You want one on each side of this thing. So pretty easy assembly, but you definitely would be better off if you did this while this was off the car and before the pulley was on, because it's tough to get down in there with everything in the way. Then there's a little bolt in the back that holds this little clamp in place or bracket in place. So we'll get that on there, and then we should be able to go ahead and get this power steering pump mounted up. Again, that's a bolt, a banjo bolt. That's just about like a brake line bolt. Lets fluid pass through it, and fun stuff like that. These this whole little kit thing here, the tube and everything, I think Holley wants like 80 bucks for those things. You can find them on eBay for 20 something. So definitely don't want to spend the money if you don't have to. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get the pump installed and go from there. All right, so after we got the fittings and everything on there, basically this is gonna slide right up in that bracket, supposedly. So it is kind of tight to the steering box. And full disclosure, I did go ahead and have to make some slight modifications. I'll show you what I mean there if I get something started here. But as I was test fitting this thing on, I noticed it was really tight. Tight enough so you really couldn't even get a bolt started in this top hole here. Right up in this corner. So I think, you know, the generic pumps, Holley may have some additional clearance, but all I really did is I slotted this top hole, elongated the kind of the middle hole a little bit so that able to get bolts and stuff through there. And it was just, you know, quite a bit less than 1/8 of an inch that I had to adjust, but I wanted to make sure that I had some adjustability in there. Those holes are slotted from Holley anyway, so really just making the slots a little bigger. Really not any big deal, I don't think. So we'll see if we can get this other one in here. But yeah, and then we'll have to get, you know, as usual with any type swap stuff, you got to get a few things made here and there, and making power steering hoses that go to old car with a new pump. Gonna have to do that, but you can see this line basically goes back up through there and then comes out back here, so you've got easy access to that. That return on the reservoir is just a tad bit tight, but I shouldn't have any problem getting a return line on there and hose clamp and fun stuff. So should be fine. And if I have to, I mean, this is just a casting. I can grind just a touch off of the steering box if needed, but I don't think I'll need to. Okay, I think once it looks good, got the outlet pointed in the right direction, because that's just basically got to go from there to there, and return's only got to go from there to there. So I'm sure I'm going to have to make a loop and stuff in there, but that fits up in there nice. So I think what we can do next is actually let's go ahead and install this pulley, and we'll pick it up from there. All right, putting this pulley on, want to make sure that you get the little divots going in. But these are always like a tapered fit. You just want to tighten them down until it's seated all the way down. I got the pulley pusher runner installer thingy I've had for a couple hundred years. So they all basically use the same threads on the inside. Just thread it down all the way, and we'll get pushing on this with that size. Maybe to have something to hold on to this pulley as it gets in here. As I said, it's tapered, so it gets harder and harder to do as you go forward. So let's do one of these numbers. Okay, well that's bottomed out, so should be in good shape. You know, the hillbilly socket set here. And the way you can tell that's in there all the way is that this surface will be flush with the shaft that comes out of there, so should be in good shape there. And pulley looks semi-aligned. Yeah, close enough for who it's for. Won't kick off any belts or anything, I don't think. So next step is throwing an AC compressor on. That goes in this top slot over here. Let's see here. The one side is slotted, so you want to go ahead and put in one of these bolts first. I mean, let's go that direction. Then you can just slide that into that slot, and then feed the other bolt in the back side. If you're coordinated enough to do it. Now, unfortunately, there's not a lot of room on the back side of that for getting in there and actually attaching that, so see what size we got here, and then may have to do that with just a regular Allen wrench to get in the back there. So but we'll get that all tightened up. And get in there. It's like a 6 millimetric, I think. And then the last little bit of this is actually just this idler pulley. As I said, this is off of a Jeep Wrangler, and essentially it just one single bolt holds that on. Okay, well that gets it idler pulley, and then essentially it will tension between here and here. So next we'll have to fit, I think, a belt or something like that. Got to get the rubber round thing going. So we'll see what we can come up with there and figure out how long we got to get a belt, and then we should be ready. Whole front accessory drive. As I said, just trying to do it the cheapest way possible, so less than half price on a Holley mid-mount kit. I think that's pretty good thing. We'll go from there. All right, so I stuffed this old belt on here that came off of the Camaro. Obviously, it's too long, but that's essentially the routing that's going on. So what I'm going to do, I think, in order to kind of get a correct belt length here, I'm actually going to try and guesstimate put some tension on that. And just vice grip the belt kind of together, since this old belt is trashed anyways. But that kind of gives me that belt size. I might have to go just a touch bigger than that and get a little bit of slack in that tensioner. Now that didn't help. Okay, I think that should probably do as a starting point. And then what I can do is leave that clamp in place, take that to the auto parts store, and be able to get one that resembles that length. You should have a fitting on that. So, okay, well, not the most graceful thing on the planet, but I think that'll work to get a start, and that way we can, you know, measure it out. I think they got a little loop thingy or whatever they can measure those with. Measure it out that way, and be able to get a belt on the front of this thing. So that'll be upcoming. Got to make a trip to the store in order to do that. So. Anyways, I think the accessory drives in. I think it looks good. We got everything in place, and to me, I mean, it's a great kit because everything's real tight to the engine. They move everything forward a little bit to get the alternator and the AC compressor ahead of the heads, but really, I mean, the width of the engine is the width of the accessory drive. So, I do like the way it's on there and fits. So again, you can do it on a budget. You can do the whole thing from Holley if you want to, but I think the way that this turned out, just right. So, anyways, I think next got some headers. So I'd like to see if they have anywhere of a chance of fitting. So we'll pick that up next. All right, so I got some generic A-body headers. Are supposed to be long tube and stainless steel from a place called Speed Engineering. Pretty decent deal. It was less than 300 bucks, I think, or thereabouts. A set of long tube stainless steel headers for the LS swap. Just a note. If you're going to handle like exhaust parts and stuff like that, especially like stainless steel or anything polished, put some gloves on because you get all the oils from your hands and stuff. Even if your hands are clean, first time you go to start it up, you'll burn in an amazing amount of handprints and fingerprints and fun stuff like that. So, but this I ordered with a set of new gaskets. Okay. So, ooh, he even says manifold side, so that's pretty handy. Take a look at these bad boys. Another set of gaskets. Guess they were extra free or something. I don't know. All right, so let's see what we got here. They already got the O2 bungs and stuff in them, but they look like pretty good quality. I know they're not like polished stainless steel, but they are at least stainless, so they won't do the serious rusting thing. But I think they look pretty good. Like pretty high quality item, you know. So let's go ahead and try and put these on, see how they fit up in the car, and if I've got clearance or if I've got to get out the header install hammers and tools and fun stuff like that. So we'll stick these on next and go from there. By the way, you know, I went the other day, I was gonna buy some camouflage pants. Must have been good because I couldn't see any. All right, we'll get some work done here. All right, so let's see if these things actually clear what I'm hoping they will clear. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Got lots of room for activities. Let's throw a couple of bolts in this one. Oh, that was handy. I think these are, oh yeah, they're like 1 7/8 tubes. They do have a 1 3/4 inch tube as well, but figured, well, you know, go big or go home, right? Okay, let me tighten these up real quick, and we'll see what we can learn from the fitment that we got. See if we got access to plugs and everything else, but it looks like it's going to fit really well to like the frame and cross member. Got lots of room there, and I do have this engine and trans shoved back just about as far as I can get it, so that probably gives us a little bit of extra room, but make sure it clears all the suspension components and fun stuff like that as well. And even if you do wear gloves while you're putting this stuff on, before you start it for the first time, especially if you're handling, kind of a fine looking exhaust or anything like that, clean it up with some acetone before it gets hot and permanently burns all those marks and stuff in there. So just a little bit of experience on that one, and make it not so fugly. Okay, well, I think we are in really good shape. Lots of room all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the other side in, and we'll take a quick tour around and make sure everything looks like it's supposed to. All right, well, got both sides in, and I got to say I am extremely impressed with the fitting of all of that. I mean, got plenty of clearance to frame rails and suspension. Dipstick fit down in there, nice and easy. Everything bolted right on, slid right into place. They're basically just about the same depth as oil pan, so it's in very impressive. And looking at the other side, got just as much, if not more room. So there's plenty of room to frame rail and suspension attachment points. Plugs are easy to access, so everything fit great, and I gotta say, I would be a highly recommend on these Speed Engineering generic A-body headers for an LS swap. So if you're in that market, that's the way I'd go.
All right, so did end up finding what belt that Holley recommends. I went to the parts store with my little contraption that I put together. They didn't have anything that size, so that's the belt that Holley recommends for the mid mounts. Did pull the plate off of there real quick because I want to toss the intake on as well. But let's see if we can't get this thing routed and see if it fits. You always want to put a belt on the grooved pulleys first, and then try and slide it over the water pump or smooth pulley or whatever you got going on there. So let's see if we can't get this in there. Yeah, that's a tight one. Okay, I'm missing something here. Oh, there we go. That'll do a little stretching over time, so should be good. But got all the accessory drive driving, so that'll work, I think. And like I said, just want to toss this intake on here real quick, kind of see where everything lines up. Not really going to install it or plug all the connectors in, because that'd take me a week to figure out what goes where. But we'll get this at least landed in position. Okay. Almost looks right. Make sure I haven't pinched anything anywhere. So much electricities. Okay. That should give us a good indication of where things got to land. So I think we got good clearance everywhere. And that way, as we have an intake tube, and figure all that fun stuff out. But yeah, I think that's a good thing. So I think the dress is on, which is a good thing. So okay, one last thing I want to do, and what is trans cooler lines, and I did the right thing, and instead of actually making good ones, I not so carefully heated up the old ones and bent them into kind of a straight shape. So I think at least this will, and I'll cut this off. I think this will get us about to where the engine mount is, so that we can, I'm going to have to extend those just a little bit anyways. But that should slide up behind that engine mount. Okay, drop that bolt in there real quick. And while I was reforming the lines, I ruined the seal, so yeah, gotta blow the $7 on a new one there, I guess. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
That'll get us a fit. So I think that plugs like that. So okay, I think everything will be fine. Should have, I mean, the radiator supports up here. Got room for radiators. So I think from that perspective, everything seems to be in place. So I think that should give us a good ability to make things actually run when we get to that point. So, anyways, should be ready to go.
Well, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's edition, and got quite a bit accomplished. I think at least we got the point where all of our accessories can accessorize. Our steering pump, the alternator, AC compressor. Again, the exhaust. I'm super impressed with Speed Engineering's headers. They fit so good, and I think it's just a good thing is like the A-body Chevys are pretty generic, and those are actually supposed to fit A's and F's and X's and WZs. I don't know. There's about 3 or 4 different vehicles or platforms that they say that they'll fit, but for the old A bodies, I think it's absolutely perfect. So highly recommended there. But yeah, I think we got enough accomplished, or we'll call that a day. And hey, I appreciate you guys coming along and getting dirty with me today. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Give me a shout out in the comments. Let me know what you think, and tell us what you would do different or better or worse. I don't know, whatever. So anyways, hey, I appreciate you guys so much, and we'll see you next time. Take care.